So I believe you can all see my screen and you can all hear me. So again, I would like to welcome you to the first BRINGG webinar. My name is Hadar, and I'm the customer happiness manager here at BRINGG. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to see how to set up the basic settings of your new BRINGG account. Everything you need to do once you get started with BRINGG. We're also going to see some things that you can see on your BRINGG dashboard right here. And lastly, we're going to go through the flow of one order and see it from all different sides. So we're going to see what you see as a dispatcher on the dispatching dashboard. We're going to see what the driver sees on their phone, and we're going to see what the customer will see when you deliver an order to them. So let's start. I assume that you all register to your own BRINGG account, and if you did not, you're welcome to do that on app.bring.com. You just register there. It's very important to know that the first 30 days you use BRINGG are a free trial, so I highly encourage all of you to register and try out the system. That's the best way to see it, to live the experience, and to understand how to use it. So right after you completed the registration, added your email, password, your company name, what will happen is that you will be entering the BRINGG dashboard, starting with the dispatch screen. So welcome to the BRINGG dashboard. This is it. And we're going to start with the first settings that you would like to configure. So your settings button is right here. That's a little gear icon here on the top right corner. I'm going to click that and go through your profile settings. This is very important to set up once you start using BRINGG. I will go over each one of them and explain what they're going to affect on your account and on your operations. So merchant name. My company is my demo company. That's my business name. You can get back here and edit that at any time you want. So if you need to use a different name, that's very easy to change right here. And this is required when you register to the service. That's why it's already here. I'm going forward to merchant mode. And what you can see here, by default, it's set on default. I'm not going to go much into detail about merchant mode. All I want to say right now is that if you are using prices on your deliveries, or you want to use tips for your delivery people, please go to merchant mode and change it to one of these two. So again, I'm not going to go into that. There are some, this is a good place to stop and say that there are some features I will not go into. And if you feel personally that you need that for your business and for your operation, please feel free to contact us after the webinar at support@bring.com. And we will all be happy to walk you through the settings and help you get what it is that you need for your own business. Also, I would like to pause here for a second and say that at the end of this demonstration, we will leave some time for questions. And you can see on your BlueJeans interface, you can see a small message icon. You can text us there your questions, and we will answer them at the end of the webinar, of the demonstration. So I'm going back to the settings page, and I'm going on to the SMS origin name. Your customers, every time you deliver something to your customers, and we will see that in a few minutes, they will get a text message. This text message by default arrives from a phone number, a US phone number, but you can change it to have a name here. So that's not mandatory, but I'm going to change it to be my demo company just for now. Phone. This is very important. This is a mandatory field, as you can see right here. And you should have here, but the phone number that you should have here is a phone number that is really available as kind of a back office for your drivers and your customers. So they should be a phone number that will be answered by the manager or the dispatcher at any time that the drivers are out on deliveries. So I'm going to add my number here, if you don't mind. Next, I'm going to address. So on address, it's very, very important to add your full address, not just street name, not just city, not just country. And the reason is that the map that we saw before and that we'll see again on the dispatch tab is centralized around this address. So if you put a city name, it will be zoomed out and centralized in a place, it might be centralized to a place that is very far from where you currently are. So please have your full address here. I'm going on to country. Now, this information by default is drawn from my current location. So as you can see right now, my current location is in Israel, and we will see that again when I demonstrate the client app. This is all recognized by my location. So I'm going to manually change that to the US. And in any case, please make sure that this is set to your real country, because this will affect the phone prefix, for example. So make sure that you're in the real country. Next up is currency. You don't have to select that, but it will every place you have a price, so that can be the delivery price or the tip, the currency will appear, and that can be a nicer experience to see your own currency instead of the default is US dollar, of course, but you can change it to anything from this list. Next up is time zone. Again, this is something very important to set up. That's because when you schedule a delivery, when you schedule a task, if you schedule it for 10 a.m. and you're not in the right time zone, what you will see on your computer is not the time that you really meant to deliver the order. So please make sure you have your right time zone. I'm not going to go into Teams. Again, this is something that we will touch upon on the next more advanced webinar. But if you do use Teams, if you have different regions or different teams that you operate with, please contact us and we will be happy to walk you through it. And last is the reply to email. That's very much self-explanatory. And of course, I have to click update for any change to apply. I'm going to do that. Next, we're going to see our drivers, how we can edit and how we can add new drivers to the account. So I'm going to go right here to the drivers tab. And as you can see, by default, I have myself as a driver. So the person that creates the account, that registers for the first time, is by default both administrator and driver. So as you can see, it draws my email as my name, and I would like to change that. So I'm going to click on my name here, and I can see the driver profile, and I can edit it. I just scroll down a little bit and click Edit Driver. So first, I'm going to change my driver's name to my name. So back to editing, changing my name. I can add a title for the driver if I want. So if you need to use driver titles, that's the place to do it. The default driver transportation, you can choose for each driver. You might have on your fleet some drivers that are riding cars and some that are riding bicycles. So you can choose which is the default method. This is an important place to stop and say that our system can recognize automatically if your driver changed their method of transportation. So for example, if my method of transportation is car, at some point I will probably park the car and will have to walk up to the house of the customer. When I start walking, the system recognizes that my speed has changed and will recalculate my ETA based on that. So we are aware of those changes. So if today I decide to take a bicycle instead of a car, the system will know that and the ETA will be calculated accordingly. You can add your driver phone. This is not mandatory, but it can be really nice, and we will see why when we see the customer interface. So you can add the phone right here. And this is what I was talking. I mentioned before that this specific driver, is both a driver and an administrator. So I can choose here the privileges I give to my user. If the user is only a driver, he or she will have access only to the driver app on their mobile phone. And if the user is an administrator, they will have access also to this web dashboard. So I'm going to click Save. And that's it. I have my new driver profile. Going back to the Drivers tab, I can also add a new driver. So I'm going to do that right here. I click on this blue button, Add Driver. I add a driver's name. So my new driver is George. I can add the title, as we said. And I can choose which way I want to validate the driver. So one way would be over the phone. So the driver will get a text message inviting him to download the Bring app to his phone. And every time he logs in, he will have to log in with his phone number. Another way to do it would be with email and password. So I'm going to use that, and my driver will get an email message, saying, inviting him to download the app to his phone. And every time he signs in, he will have to use his email address and password that I'm going to give him right here. Oops. So once I click Add Driver, this driver, George, will get an email saying that I invited him to be a driver on my company, and that he's invited to download the app. So I'm going to add this driver. And I see that it was successful. That's great. So now that we have two drivers, if we don't see them, we can refresh the page and we will see them. Now that we have two drivers on our account, I'm going to show the driver app. So in order to go into the driver app, you will need to go to your App Store or Google Play Store and download the Bring app. So I'm going to share my phone screen with you. So I already have the Bring app, as you can see right here. And this is what happens when I enter. So I'm going to sign in right now with my driver, with Hadar, the same driver that is also an administrator. And we're going to see what your driver sees on their app. Okay, so this is the driver app. You can see that I already see the first task, the demo task. Every time you open a new account, you see you get a demo task to complete on your own. I will not go through the demo order. Sorry. I would like each of you to do it on your own and see how it goes. So this is the order that I see here. Other things I see here is that when I have more orders, we will see a list of orders, and I can arrange them by distance, by priority, or by time. So we'll try that once we add another order. You can see the phone icon right here. This icon will be used in order to dial, to call the back office. So you remember I said it's very important to have a number that a manager or a dispatcher can answer to. On the settings, we just added a number here. This is where the driver can call this number to call the back office. And last thing I want to show here is the menu. When the driver clicks on the menu, he or she can start and end shift right here. They can also send feedback here, so that's very important. If any, you can say that to your drivers, and we highly encourage that. If anything goes wrong in the app, please make sure to send us feedback in real time. So we will get that as email. We will be able to look into what happened in the backstage of the app, and that is very, very helpful. And last, you can log out. So if you don't want to stay connected to the same account, you can just log out. If you're not on shift and you turn off and you close the app, it will not be playing in the background. As long as you're on shift, it will. So I'm going to go back to our dispatch dashboard right here. So we saw what's happening with the drivers. Let's see how about the customers. So we have two ways to add a new customer. The first way is right here under Customers tab. Now you will see that you'll see that I already have one customer, and that's, again, the administrator. So once you create the account, you have a default customer that is you, with the address of the business. If I wanted to add another customer, I will just click here on the blue button. I have to give the customer's name, so my customer will be Marie. I can choose to add either phone or email, but each customer has to have at least one of them. If you do not add neither phone nor email, the customer will not be added to your database. So make sure you add one of the two. So I'm going to add just a random number up here. And The address, again, is very important. You need to know where to deliver. So I'm going to add this address right here. And of course, you can add an image that is very much not mandatory. I click Add Customer, and the customer is added successfully. Now I can see that I have 2 customers on my list. Another way to add the customer is when you add an order. So if you create an order to a customer that is not on your customer list yet, it will be added automatically. So we will see that right now. In order to add an order, you go to the dispatch screen and you click right here on this blue button, Add Order. So let's add a new order. I'm going to add an order that it will be delivering lunch to Julie. So that's my title. My customer now is Julie. That's a new customer. So if I type it in, the system doesn't recognize it. I'm just going to show it. If I type Marie that we just added, it will be auto-completed right here. But I want to send it to Julie and not to Marie. So I need to click here, Create New Customer, because Julie is not an existing customer. So I add Julie. I will add her phone number, so it will be my phone number again, just because we want to see all the customer experience on my phone. And we will add an address. Now, the address that I'm going to add will be located closer to where I am right now, just because, again, my phone's GPS will not be able to recognize an address that is too far, and it doesn't make sense to deliver across continents. So I'm going to use an address close to here. You cannot follow the GPS. Okay, so that's my address. I can also add a second address line. So if I need to add, for example, 3rd floor, I can do that. I can also add a note to the driver. So I'm going to add a note, 2nd door to the right. And I can assign it to the driver. I'm not going to assign it yet. I will show how I assign it also after the order is created. So we created a new order. As we said, we created a new customer on the way. So if I add the order now, I will see that it's added right here. And if I jump back to customers, I will see that Julie, my new customer with her address and her phone number, is added to the customer list. So I'm going back to dispatch, and I want to show what we see on the dispatch screen. So what we see here is the map view. We have a map view and we have a list view. So on the map view, what you can see is a list of all your drivers that are on shift. So at the moment, it's no driver is on shift, but if I slide and start shift on my phone, let's do that real quick. So I'm going to start my shift, and as you can see, now I'm added right here. In the middle, we see the list of open orders, the orders that need to be delivered with all their details and also their status. So we can see that this one is assigned but not started, and this one is not even assigned, so it's gray. If it was blue, it was already started, and if it was red, it means that it's late. Another thing we see is that we see a map. Usually the map is centralized around your business, around your address, as we said, but right now, because I'm the driver and I'm on shift, it's centralized around my location. We can also click on the driver's name right here on the list and see a view of just this driver. So I can see the orders that Hadar has to deliver. I can see her status. I can see the battery status. I can see that she's online, on shift. I can send a message to Hadar right here. Another view that we have instead of the map view is the list view. Now you can see it right here, but I want to direct you not to the list view, but to the new list view that we just added. It's still in beta, but I feel personally that it's a much more convenient way to look at the list. So I do recommend using the new list view. And if you have any feedback, we will be happy to hear it. I'm going to go to the new list view. Okay, so we're in the list view, and what we see here is again the same list of orders, but now I can group it. So I can group it by driver, and now I see the unassigned ones and the ones that are already assigned to Hadar. And I can leave it not grouped, of course. I can do bulk actions, so I can select those two and assign both of them to one of my drivers or cancel both of them. And as we said, I can also assign just one of them by going here. This exists also on the map view. I'm going here and I'm going to assign it to Hadar now. So let's start delivering this order. So I'm going back to my phone, and as I assigned it to myself as the driver, I get this push notification that you see. I see here the order details, and I can choose to accept the order or click not now. If I click not now, the dashboard will get a notification saying that I did not accept the order that I was assigned. So I'm going to accept the order. And I see it now added to my list. Remember, we said that we had a list of all the tasks I have open. So I can order them by time, and that will change the order. So you see the demo order was first and the lunch for Julie order was second. But if I arrange it by distance, then lunch for Julie is closer than my demo order. So I'm going to start the order. I click on that order. And I see, oh, sorry, I did not accept that for some reason. Let's accept. So I click on the order. Oops. And the next thing I'm going to do is click heading to you. Once I click heading to you, it will trigger a text message that will go to the customer, and we will see it in a second because I, again, put my phone number as the customer. So I'm going to click heading to you. Now we see here all the order details. So we see the note that I left to the driver. You remember that? We can also see that it was added by Hadar, the administrator of the account. I can see the due time. I can see the address that I'm going to. Other very important things I can do is I can click this blue arrow right here, and it will open a navigation app on my phone. So if I click it right here, I can choose which navigation app I want to use, and it will start navigating towards this address. I have this phone icon and message icon right here. These will call and text Julie, my customer. So if I need to communicate with my customer, this is where I'll do it. And again, we have this phone icon that calls the back office, and we always have it here. Now let's see what happened on the customer's side. So I got a new text message right here saying this default text: hello Julie, your delivery from my demo company is heading your way. Track it in real time here. This whole text is customizable as part of our Pro plan. So if you would like to customize the text that you're sending, just contact us and we will do it for you. When I click on that link, what happens is that I open an HTML5 page. Oops, sorry. So excuse me, there is there is a tiny issue here. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, add another order quickly. I'm going to add another order to go to Julie. I'm going to assign it to myself and edit. And let's go back and start it on my phone, on my driver's app. So I got the new order. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to go back to the main screen, and I see I have 3 orders. So I'm going to look at this one. I start the order by heading to you, and I will get the text message. I'm sorry about that. Just one quick second, since I'm located not where my company is located, the link can be distorted sometimes. Let's give it another try. Sorry about the delay. So starting off, the delivery again. Okay, so I'm going to take this order again. Sorry about the confusion so far. And this is where I start the order flow. So I click heading to you. And again, as we said, the customer gets a text message saying that they have an order coming their way. So I'm going to go to the text message. Unfortunately, I am not able to show it from my phone, so I'm going to show what the customer experiences from the computer. I will check the issue with my phone in a few minutes. So if you go to the order itself on your dashboard, you can see here the link that the customer will see as well. I'm going to open that real quick. So this is the page that will open on the customer's phone. What the customer will see is their location. That's Julie's location, the driver's location, so that's my location, and an ETA, how long it's going to take for the driver to arrive to them. They also see the driver's name and a photo, so I didn't upload a photo, but I can do that. And that's very nice for the customer to have, so they know who's coming their way. Also, they can communicate, just as the driver can communicate with them, they can communicate back to the driver by calling the driver or sending a message. Now I'm going to send this message because I want to show what happens when I send the message. So my message will be, do not ring the doorbell. This message is added as a note on the task itself. And we will see that in a few minutes. So that's what the customer sees. And if I go back to the driver, so let's say the driver has arrived. Oops. So let's say the driver has arrived at the customer's place. So I'm going to click arrived. Of course, I get this error message that says that I'm not at the right place, and that's great for your drivers to not click arrived by mistake. But I'm going to say yes now just because it's for the example, and of course I'm not moving anywhere. I'm sitting and demonstrating this. I'm going to click yes. And now I've arrived. If we look at what the customer sees, we're going to see this screen right now. So we're going to see this message that the driver has arrived. Sorry, going back here. And if I go back again to the driver, so we have the driver and we have the customer and what each of them sees. So now that the driver has arrived, so I've arrived at Julie's and I delivered whatever it is that I needed to deliver, I can add a comment to the task. I can take a signature or I can take a photo, and each of them will be attached to the order on Bring. So let's say I want to take a signature. I'm going to sign right here, and this is added to my order. The last thing the driver needs to do once everything is completed, you got the proof of delivery right here, and everything is okay, the driver has to click left location. Once the driver clicked left location, the order is no longer on the driver's list, and the customer will no longer be able to track the driver. So what happens on the customer screen is that the customer will be asked to rate the service. So you can rate whatever you want. I'm going to rate. And after I do that, if I open this link again, I will see that I have no active deliveries at this time. So I can no longer track your driver, and that's very important to know. Now I'm going back to the dispatch dashboard right here, the web dashboard, and I want to show, so if we go back to dispatch, we'll see that now we have one less order on the screen because it was delivered already. And if we want to see it, if we want to see any completed orders, all we have to do is go to orders screen. So we go right here and we can see the order that we just completed. If you click on the ID, we can see all the details that we need to see. So we can see when it was scheduled for, when it was started, what is the status. We can see all the different checkpoints right here, so you can know exactly what your driver did and where they were, how long it took them between the time they arrived to the time they left the customer. You can see all the notes that we had. So we saw the note that we added from the dashboard. We see the signature that the driver took at the customer's place, and we see the note that the customer sent to the driver. So we can see all that. So that's it. That's the first order, and it was completed from all sides. The last thing I want to show before we open this for questions is some additional settings that you can have on your account. Now I'm going to go right here back to the settings. And the first thing I would like to show is something we call grab mode. So when you assign an order, you have two ways of assigning it. The first one is manual, right as we did it. So you go to the dispatch screen, you see the order, and you click on the driver you wanted to assign it to, the same way we did right now. Another way to do it would be grab mode. So grab mode means that every order that is added to your account is pushed to all drivers, and the first one to accept will take the order. The way to configure that is to go to merchant configuration right here and just check this box, grab mode, no dispatcher needed. Now, once you check that, please make sure to also fill in those two. So alert drivers when means when you want to send a push notification to the driver. So if you want all drivers anywhere they are to know that there is a new order, please choose always. If you want just the drivers that are currently in the store, so in the back office, to be alerted, please choose only at home. So this will know to alert only the drivers that are at or very near your store or center. Second thing you need to fill in is right here. So grab order max age. That means how long would you like the system to keep pushing the orders for the drivers to accept after the order was created? So do you want to give up after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour? And when the system gives up, of course, it lets the dispatcher know that something went wrong. So you will receive an alert right here. The second thing I would like to show you how to customize is the customer app. So I'm going right here, and this is the customer view. As we saw before, we saw it on the web view, but this is the phone view. And this area is customizable, so you can have your brand colors right here on the header and also on the ETA circle, and you can switch this to be your logo. The way to, all of that is part of our Pro plan. Our Pro plan allows you those customization as well as the text message that is being sent, as we said before. And this costs $20 per driver per month, instead of $10 per driver per month. That is the basic plan. So how you do that? Here you can upload your logo. You can also change the map pins, so the customer location, and the driver location. You just upload them from here. You can also change the color. So let's change the color let's choose light blue, this one. Now if I change to a light color, to a bright color, it's better to click here on inverse header text color. Otherwise, you will not be able to see those titles, because this color will also change our dashboard header. So we will see it in a second. You can also choose to remove the footer completely, or just to remove the texting or the calling option right here. So you can just check those boxes and adjust it to what you want. And lastly, you can decide that the customer should only call the merchant. So this little icon here will not call my driver, but will call the back office, the number we put on the merchant profile in the beginning. So once I did all the customization I want, I will just click update, and I will upgrade to Pro, of course, otherwise I will not be able to do any changes. And it's done. And if I refresh the page, I can see that the color is changed, or not. Sorry. I had to select the color after I upgrade to Pro, so make sure you do that. Oops. I'm selecting the color, inverse header text color, and click Update. And I see the new color right here, and also on the customer app. This is it for my part, so I would like to open this for questions. If you have any questions, I would be very happy to answer. If you have any questions, please go to your BlueJeans and click on the message icon right here. So we're having a question from Ben, and let's wait for him to complete the question. Okay, so Ben says that sometimes he has about 50 orders at a time and asks how the system will handle this volume. So that's not an issue. We handle very large volumes of orders at the same time, so you can have hundreds and thousands of orders at the same time. That's not a problem. Sure. So this is a kind of more advanced option. So Ben asked for an example. Well, you can add orders not only manually, as we saw on the dispatch screen, but you can also add orders using a CSV file. So you can find it right here, or using API calls. So you can integrate your system with BRINGG and have orders that arrive to your own system, to your own ordering platform, arrive on BRINGG automatically. Oh, sorry, I see that the example was customers that have a lot of volume. So let me think of an example. So we have an example of a customer that has a delivery service for restaurants that do not deliver for themselves. And this is his delivery service is located in multiple cities around the same area, but this customer also has different teams for each city, and they get up to 200, 300 orders a night. Each of those orders arrives on API call. So this is a more advanced configuration of the system, but it's very, very easy to do if you just have basic development capabilities. So each of these orders arrives on an API call after a customer places it on their website, and is also assigned to the right team, so to the right area. And in the team, it's assigned to a driver that is now available. All of this is done automatically. And this way they deliver around 200 or 300 orders a night. Please email me about that if you could at support@bring.com. Ben is asking to speak to this customer. We usually do not let out customer details, but I would be very happy to speak to you first, Ben, and see how we can help you. So please email me at support@bring.com. Great. Any other questions? So we have another question from Ben. Just 1 second for him to type. Well, Ben asks if we have competitors. So the answer is yes and no. Yes, there are competitors that provide some parts of this solution. No, I do not know of any competitor that we have that offers the entire package. So what we offer here in very high level, and you could see all of that just from this very quick and very basic demo, is we offer the logistics part right here. So you can manage, we just manage 3 orders, but you can manage hundreds of orders and dozens of teams on one screen. So we offer this logistics as well as the driver app that you just saw, that allows the driver to manage his or her entire day, everything they need for the delivery from just one screen. So everything is right there. And we also provide the on-demand part. So I don't know if I know of competitors that provide one of the two, but this entire solution is not that commonly available. So you get the on-demand experience for your customer, that the customer can see the driver in real time, and orders that can arrive automatically and on real time to Bring and be delivered. We actually do. Ben asks if we work with similar companies that to his that deliver cannabis. So we actually do, but this is very similar to any sort of delivery. So anything that you need to deliver, it doesn't have to be food. We have of course restaurant or food delivery services, but we have home delivery services. We have customers that provide services and not even physical goods. So those customers do not deliver anything, they deliver themselves. So we have refrigerator technicians that just arrive to the customer's house and fix the refrigerator, and that's what they deliver, but they announce their arrival and let the customer track them on the way. So delivering cannabis is very similar to any other delivery. Also, if we talk about deliveries of goods, so we have the on-demand world where, for example, you're hungry now, you want to order a pizza or hamburger or sushi right now, so that's the on-demand world. We have the pre-planned world, so we support that as well. If you get orders for a week in advance or a day in advance, you can plan the next day or the next week in advance, assign it to drivers. All of this can be done right here on this dashboard. And then each morning when the drivers start their day, they will just see the list of orders as we saw on the driver app. So they will just see what they have to do today. So you can also future plan on the app as well. Any other questions? Okay, so I will take that there are no other questions, and I think we will end this webinar right here. I will be very happy. Oh, just one. Oh, sorry. We say that there are no more questions. Okay, so we will end right here. Thank you for joining us. And once we have another webinar on advanced feature, we will let you know on our newsletter. So stay tuned. And again, if you have any question that you would need help with, please contact us on support@bringgwebinaar.com. And we will be happy to help. Also, we would appreciate your feedback on this webinar. If you could, to the same address, that would be great. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and I hope to see you on board soon. Thank you.